Hello, my friends. Who is God? The most accurate answer is God is God. Period. I'm going to lay out 5 most fundamental and universal truths about God. No one can understand God correctly without holding them clearly in mind and firmly in heart. Let me list the first letters of these 5 words to help with your memorization. O, G, L, I, B. You can make an acronym out of them, like GLOBI, for example. GLOBI has a sound close to global with a sense of universal, or another acronym as you wish. Let's start with the first truth, letter O, for one. There is only one God. That means the source of life for all beings, including you, me, and everyone, is God. Our very existence comes from God and depends on God. Outside God, there is no life. If you exist, you are in God. There is no other way, no other possibility. The second truth, letter G, for good. God is truly good. That means there is no evil in God's nature and action. This in turn means there is no violence of any form or any kind can exist in God. Why? Because violence is from the devil, Satan. Consequently, the most serious insult and blasphemy against God is to use violence in God's name. Whoever uses violence in God's name is saying that God is evil, and that person is destroying the true image of God. Nothing can be more stupid, more wrong, and more harmful than this act. Again, whoever uses violence in God's name is sinning against God in the most serious way. Another important note here is that God gives each person free will to decide his or her destiny. And God always respects our freedom, our free will, even when it is abused by human beings against God. God's respect for our free will does not lower or reduce God's power at all. But on the contrary, it shows how great God is in God's freedom and especially in God's mercy for each person. The third truth, letter L, for love. God is love. All beings and living creatures are created and sustained by this most powerful love. Remember, God's love is perfect for all creatures. Perfect because God loves all with the same complete love. There is no partiality in God's love. When God loves completely and fully. Everyone, including you, me, those we love, those we hate, those who love us, those who hate us, poor or rich, whatever color of the skin, black or white or brown or yellow or green or red, Christian or Buddhist or Muslim or anyone of any belief, intelligent or stupid, quick or slow, believer or non-believer, and so on. Everyone is loved completely and thus equally by God. Anyone who thinks God loves them more or less than someone else for any reason is simply mistaken, wrong. When God loves completely and fully. That's why God's love is perfect in itself. It does not depend on any condition or any creature to be perfect. Otherwise, it would not be perfect anymore. Another very important note here is that God is the only creator of all people. Therefore, God only creates human beings to be brothers and sisters in the same human family and never to be enemies. The word enemy does not exist in God's creation plan. So anyone who calls another person enemy is contrary to God's will. Sadly, my friends, as we have seen in history, human beings, in abusing their free will, their freedom, have created conflicts among themselves and then claimed God to be on their side to destroy one another. That's simply the human problematic tendency and action. But of course, God has no side, and God takes no side because God is the only loving, common creator of all. Each person, no matter who they are and what they do, is always a beloved child of God. The suffering, injury, or loss of any child causes pain for the heart of the parent. So, whoever thinks God is pleased when they hurt another person in God's name or even in God's honor is seriously wrong. The fourth truth, letter B for beyond. God is beyond all, everything. God is greater than anything and everything. No concept or definition or faith or belief system can contain God's power and love. Unfortunately and sadly, my friends, some people have made a deadly mistake when putting God in a box with their human concepts. For example, the concept of justice. They frame and limit God in their narrow and shallow understanding of justice and create all kinds of problems against the true, wonderful image of God, making God look like a harsh, mean, and angry judge. It's a terribly unfortunate mistake against the greatness of God. And the fifth truth, letter I for intimate. God is ever intimate. God is closer to us than we to ourselves. No one is closer to each person than God. You may feel God is absent or far away sometimes, but it's your subjective human feeling. The objective truth stands unchangeable. The existence of all creatures is sustained by God. Otherwise, everything would become nothing right away. Therefore, my friends, God is ever close to us. And that's why God sees everything in us. And God loves us so much. God loves us more than we love ourselves. A last note before we close this topic. In reality, there have been human misunderstandings, misinterpretations, miscommunications, misbehaviors, etc. Because of defective cultures, philosophies, experiences, educations, ideologies, languages, and so on. Therefore, please be extremely careful with our own human tendency to project our limited and defective points of view onto God. Please remember that problems come from creatures, including angels and human beings in many ways. Fortunately, in every circumstance, God remains always loving, wonderful, and merciful to all.